Professor Gaur Kishore Rath. He's currently the chief of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Institute, Rotary Cancer Hospital at All India Institute in Delhi. He's also spearheading the upcoming National Cancer Institute at Jhajjar in the National Capital Region of Delhi. He has guided the Department of Radiation Oncology at the IRCH AIIMS since its inception in 1983. He's known in the oncology circles in the country and abroad for his interest and expertise in gynecological and breast cancers, his interest in IMRT and IGRT, as well as for brachytherapy. Besides his mammoth administrative experience at the All India Institute, Dr. Rath has been involved with formulation and implementation of cancer care programs and initiatives in our country. He is member of advisory bodies to the Government of India and to the numerous academic and professional bodies, including our own institute. Professor Rath has been the PI of numerous national and international research studies and has worked as chairman or member of numerous technical and research committees. Some of his notable awards are Best Graduate Student of the Utkal University, Odisha, the Jogendra Nath Bose Gold Medal, and the Pfizer Gold Medal and Postgraduate Award at the Utkal University. He has also delivered the Foundation Day Oration at Art Institute in the past. Professor Rath has published extensively on various radiotherapy and general oncology issues. He has edited 2 books, including the Textbook of Radiation Oncology. He has authored and co-authored almost 400 research and clinical articles in the medical literature. He has contributed 35 book chapters as well. Dr. Rath is an associate editor of the journal Brachytherapy International, and he is on the editorial board of numerous others, including the Indian Journal of Cancer, the Indian Journal of Chest and Allied Specialties, and others. Professor Rath is a much sought after speaker at various conferences. He has delivered 35 talks in various international and more than 200 at various national conferences. Besides, he has been a passionate advocate of cancer awareness. He has conducted various programs and talks on cancer awareness, especially on tobacco and cancer, including those on the national television. On behalf of my colleagues at the Department of Endocrine and Breast Surgery at SGPGI, I thank you, sir, for gracing this occasion as the chief guest, and may I request you to kindly address the gathering.
Dignitaries in the dais, dignitaries of the dais, ladies and gentlemen. I was just wondering what brings me here. A hardcore radiation oncologist for 40 years and endocrine surgery. I thought the only association of me with Professor Misra could be, as you have just heard, not the only effort but the struggle which he has faced to bring these 2 departments. One is the endocrine surgery, the other is telemedicine. Whenever I go anywhere in the country regarding telemedicine, he is synonymous with telemedicine, and if you go outside the country, I think more people know him outside the country than inside the country. He's known more about both telemedicine and endocrine surgery. I thought it will be an apt occasion because of his leadership. This has come, and that is what is lacking in this country. And I will tell some of maybe some hardships which I also have faced in developing the department and associated with the cancer control program of this country. I thought I'll share some of these with you today so that some of the gaps which are there can certainly be filled. Auditing of the department, you have just seen what he has done, but of the entire country, to look after the entire medical field of the country is also our responsibility. And there, cancer registry program is one of the programs, though not a complete program, is one of the near complete programs. So it's one of the near perfect programs. It's not the only perfect program in our country. And keeping this in mind, the government has now added diabetes, stroke, and cardiovascular disease to this program. I'll tell you as I go along. I thought I'll give an example of how cancer is progressing in cancer facilities are progressing in the country in various fields like teaching, research, and patient care, and that could be easily extrapolated to other DJs because we don't have that strong data in other areas of the country. Well, leaders are very essential for this country because this is a country where we have everything. We have the talent, we have the money, we have the resources, but somehow it doesn't progress. So these are the 6 basic qualities of a leader, and as published in Singapore Medical Journal, ability to share a vision, surrounding oneself with great people, ability to coach others, ability to focus on perfection, developing emotional intelligence, and of course, train effective leaders. These are 6 essential things which are required. And what President Roosevelt has told, the best leader is the one who has the sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants to be done, and the self-restraint to keep from meddling with them while they do it. It's another very good quote which we all must also remember. There are 2 types of leading. One is leading, the other is managing. Leader and manager. A leader is one who does the right thing, and a manager who does the things right. And this is a very, very thin line, and this has to be experienced by everybody. India is a developing country, and what are the problems in our country? Every country has some problem. So we have our own problem, we have our own plus points, but let me tell you, the plus points what we have in this country are much more than our negative points. And for example, I can compare that if we fulfill these small gaps, it's not too far when we can become MD Anderson or Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital. As we just had Dr. Burma saying us that because the secretary's wife fell ill, the department came in. This is usual story with every department. In cancer, there is another disaster. It's usually a memorial hospital. There's little disaster, somebody has to die, to name it. You don't find trauma memorial or TB memorial or malaria memorial. You always find cancer memorial hospitals. That should not happen anymore, because I'll show you some statistics in which maybe before we got independence, this sort of memorial hospitals were there. But now, unless we correct it very quickly by good leadership, we are going to be in big problem. Well, it's a rapidly expanding population. And let me tell our guests here, we add exactly 1 Australia every year. Health insurance is practically lacking. Today, only 8% of our country are insured. Tremendous problem. That's one of the major problems. Why the healthcare is not progressing that far, and rapidly expanding population is the major problem of our country. We were just discussing 10 minutes back that every corridor in every hospital, whether it's government, private, is choked. People cannot work, and this is not going to become better unless we have good leaders. Economy is very interesting in this country. We have very rich people. 15% of our country are filthily rich, and that will be more than the entire Japanese population. But we have some 40% poor people also. And that's also our need, how to look after them. Middle class is hovering 45%. That's good. That's more than entire Europe. So India, I always say it's like a mesothelioma. You have all sorts of cells. Depends on where do you take the biopsy from. People say India is very rich if they have gone to a rich place. They say it's very poor if they have gone to a poor place, because it's such a country. It's like 650 kingdom before the British came. So it depends on where have you gone. So it has everything. We have very rich people, very poor people, middle class people. So there is a lot to do for everything. Quality of medical education, unfortunately, is not standard throughout. We have very, very, very good medical schools, and we have little poor medical school also, as usual, anywhere in the world. And research is a problem in this country for a variety of reasons. I will talk to it a little later. And retaining intelligentsia in research institutions is another difficulty, because of the standards of the private institutions and government institutions are getting so different. In government institutions, where the most students come from, go to private institution and earn 10 times their teachers. So it's very difficult. Money is also a very important thing in life. So one of the important things in life. And this country, interestingly, will go on for this like maybe ever. We will have bullock carts forever and also our PSLVs. So we have everything, but by good leadership, we have to take it forward. As I was telling you, the government and private institution is a big problem in this country. The good people, the teaching institution mostly are in government sector, but they are paid much less. This has to be corrected. Drugs, equipment, trials, why can't we do that? One of the reason is, if you see in the West, the academia develops the drugs and the pharma companies or the companies take it over. Here, if we talk to a pharma company, it's taken that you are talking to enemy. So this is one of the major reasons why, I mean, there have been now 20,000 restrictions on, conducting a clinical trial. You have to videograph, you have to photograph, if you do this, you will be only doing this. You cannot see any patient, you cannot teach. So clinical trial is virtually, becoming impossible to conduct. Maintenance of standards and coping with the developments is becoming difficult because, as you just had the previous, our learned Dr. Burma saying, that unless you know somebody, you cannot get money. We have a lot of money. In the initial days of my career, I used to go to a decision maker and he won't listen to you at all. He will keep on signing his paper and all that. The moment you tell that the people sitting in this room will die of 3 things, cancer, heart attack, accident, then he will raise his head. He will say everything is okay, now tell me what you want. But the question is, you can't do that all the time. Certain mechanism has to be found out. And I'm sure all of us have certain experience of this. And I really sometimes pity Professor Misra's marathon because it is impossible to achieve anything in India without personal perseverance and continuous labor. In continuation of this, I wanted to tell you the example of how in this country a radiotherapy department radiotherapy as a facility is progressing, and this we can extrapolate to a certain extent to other specialties. We have 450 LINACs today in our country, 450 linear accelerators. Some states don't even have one linear accelerator. There are many states and union territories who do not have even one. That's the state of affairs. We add 45, decommission 5. So effectively we are left with 40 per year. Our present need per developing country standard, where we say 1 per million. If you say Australia or Canada, it's 10 per million. Forget about that. It will happen after 10 centuries probably, if we do one like this. And our increase in population, because we are adding 23 million every year, and increase in cancer incidence. So we don't know, this gap certainly will not be filled in recent future in our lifetime. And the same thing is happening in other specialties also, unless we do something about it. Same thing we were discussing some time back, the SGPGI, where the corridors were very easy to go, but now it's becoming difficult. Well, medical field is certainly facing challenge, particularly in developing field, and there are a lot of materials. This telemedicine and IT has certainly organized a lot of things, but a leader is very much essential. There are 2 types of leaders. One who leads from the front, like kings. Previously, as you know, the kings used to lead from the front, and the soldiers, as you see, they are all behind. And nowadays, the king or the general or the leader sits in the capital. In the periphery, in the real battlefield, you find the soldiers. In this medical field, so-called the medical field is concerned, this sitting in the back doesn't happen. You cannot become a follower, you have to lead from the front. Because ours is a large and increasing population, this is a fact. There are some positive aspects about it also. We in this country have competing priorities, like we have infectious diseases, even though non-communicable diseases are increasing. We have infectious diseases, family welfare is our problem, TB, maternal mortality, infant mortality, malaria, etc. A lot of problems. That's all right. But this all can be tackled. Then we have an increase in the cancer prevalence per year for a variety of reasons that we'll discuss afterwards. Lack of any standard operating procedure for establishment of an institute or for establishing any center. It always happens on a person-oriented approach, or if somebody is interested to have that institute, not on the need. That requires leadership. That, of course, is happening because of certain leadership. And financial problem, we have financial problem, not financial absence. The richest man in Britain is Mittal. The richest man in the world, who owns the richest house in the world, is Ambani, practically in Bombay. So we have a lot of rich people. But taking a shield with that, we have a lot of poor people also. Sometimes, people don't work. I'll just show you small statistics. Doesn't want to bore you with statistics. This is the statistics of 3031. These were the top 10 causes of death. Cancer was nowhere in the picture. So there was nothing, not to be worried, because people were dying. Average lifespan was 30 years. And those days, there are only 8 cancer centers. Very few cancer centers. These are all in India now. This has gone to Pakistan. In 1910, the first cancer department ever was created. This is the foundation stone in Medical Calcutta. As you know, this was the oldest medical college. Radiation therapy started in 1913. India started with a good beginning, but somehow it became slow. Cancer registration, as I told you, unless you know the magnitude of problem, how do you solve a problem? We do not know what is the magnitude of problem in this country. For that, registration is required. For a huge country of 1.25 billion, we have only 25 registries. There are many states, which includes state of Uttar Pradesh also, which doesn't have a cancer registry. So unless we have and for cancer registry, we can, leadership is the sole, thing which is required for having a cancer registry. Let me tell you that about 15 years back, when Northeast, we didn't know what is the incidence of cancer. The highest incidence of cancer in India was in one of the southern states. But today, we have 30 lakh cancer cases in this country at any particular time, compared to, if it is 3 million prevalence of cancer, if you take about, for example, diabetes, we have, I think, 70 million, about 30 million cardiac patients, but these are all guesstimates. We require a hardcore figure if you want to solve it, and which area is high, which area is low. That's very much required. We have 11 lakh new cancer cases in a year, 6 lakhs die. They are all in the very, very productive age groups. And the best thing about cancer is all major cancers are preventable. Sometimes I give a lecture, I say to the people that, look, cancer is a very good disease to have, because 70% of cancers are preventable. Tobacco-related cancers are preventable. Infectious diseases related like cervical cancer are eminently preventable, and 10% lifestyle. I'll show you a slide in 2 minutes where 80% of major cancers are curable. You can't cure diabetes, you can't prevent diabetes. You can't cure hypertension, you can't prevent hypertension. So it's a very good disease. The question is, this idea has to go through to the policymaker, to the people, to our society. Unfortunately, 80% of our people present in stage 3 and 4, out of which only 20% are curable. In fact, the stage 3-4 I have highlighted because they are really in stage 3-4. If had the staging system been formulated in India, they would have been stage 10 or 11. Because the 20 centimeter tumor, 15 centimeter tumor, you can't restrict to stage 4. So the survival is directly proportional to the cell mass. They are huge coconut-like tumors. So these are to be prevented and cured, and these are eminently possible. These are the top 10 cancers in male in our country. As you see, the largest number of big cities, I'm sure Lucknow will have the same thing, are lung, where, as you know, cure rate is very, very poor. And in Delhi, soon prostate is coming to become number 2, which is fortunately a better sign, because prostate is a little better cancer. In females, cervical cancer is still the number 1 cancer in villages. Breast is number 1 in most of the cities. This is the interesting part about India so far as cancer is concerned, and this has come out very clearly since last 15 years only because of the registry. If we don't have the registry, we don't know. Aizawl district in Mizoram, which is in the northeastern part of our country for our guests, has the incidence of 240 per 100,000 compared to 53 in a village in Barsi in Maharashtra. That's the western part of the country. Such a huge difference. Look at the huge difference. All the big cities are here, around 110 to 120. In the females, again the same thing, Mizoram, Aizawl district, and the Ahmedabad rural and Barsi somewhere here. See, unless you find out what is happening in a place, how do you know which are the common cancers? We just take it for granted. So this is very essential, and for this we require radiotherapy. And what can be done? Lot of things have been done in this country. We have as Dr. Misra just mentioned, the equipment which they have in this a great institute. We have gamma knife now, which is where the accuracy, physical accuracy of gamma knife is plus minus 0.3 mm. You can't get more accuracy than 0.3 mm. We have very good, accurate radiotherapy machines now. But people still smoke. People still smoke with their tracheostomy tube. That has to be prevented. This slide I would like to mention. This is published in JCO 2010. You see this author, what he has done is he has published 5-year survival rates in 3 periods, 75 to 77, 84 to 86, and 99 to 2006. And as you can see, there are many cancers where the 5-year cure rates have crossed more than 90%. Like the breast is more than 90%. Here you can see 93 is melanoma. One, like prostate, has touched 100%. Who says cancer is not curable? Is much more curable than many other diseases. Probably we have to catch them early. So these are all evidence as to show that in every disease, if we prevent, if we try to have a cure, then success is definitely possible. Now with improved technique, we are achieving the highest amount of accuracy, and we have as Madam Gujral is sitting here, we have the imaging, and the accuracy in treatment with radiotherapy travels fast. And it is becoming so accurate that if you are not sure where do you want to hit, you can really hit wrongly. That's in a most expensive way. That should not be done. And I should not speak about surgery amongst the galaxy of surgeons. As I can tell you that as we had green revolution or the white revolution in our country, we have now a program called NPCDCS in the country. It's called National Program for Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, CVD, and Stroke. Why all these 4 diseases, non-communicable diseases, have been tagged together? Because most have common etiological factor, and it can be managed sort of similarly. People say India is a poor country. Who says India is poor? Now money which is available is 120 crores for state level cancer institute. 120 crores. TCCP, Tertiary Cancer Control Program, 45 crores for the state, 45 for institute, which are smaller in nature, and it can be available. We don't have application. There are only 8 applications, the perfect good applications where the state also has to contribute. Not that it's a federal structure, but state has to also feel involved with this program. If you just give money to somebody, they don't spend, or spend somewhere else, distribute in salary, purchase trucks or something else. So this 75%, 25% share is to make the people involved. So lot of money is available. Last 2 years, only 8 centers have got. And let me tell you, Tripura, a small state, very, very small state with 30 lakh population, very, very small population, they also have got this money, 120 crores. And any state applies with all, but somebody, see, the question is, the application doesn't fly to Delhi. Somebody has to follow it up, somebody has to see that the state government does. For that, you require leadership. We have a registry program now called NCDIR, National Council for Disease Informatics and Research. There you have cancer, diabetes, CVD, and stroke to gather data about the other common non-communicable diseases. This has started. I'm sure other diseases can follow suit. About the National Cancer Institute, which has been my dream so far. And I can tell you with great satisfaction that this is the only project where I got what I wanted. The land which we have got 35 acres of land. We requested for 2035 crores. We got 2035 crores. Even though, as you know, apply anything to the government, they will say, 2 rupees kam kar do. Reduce a little bit. I thought, why are we purchasing vegetables? Either we have it or don't have it. Why should you, reduce it? You don't have it at all. So this is all possible, and the largest number of bed in the country. This is the largest project in independent India, for in the sector of cancer. The special degrees like MD, PhD, our predecessor was mentioning, we're going to have those degrees because in our country, great research is done in labs, but it doesn't let into the clinics. So here we are going to have MD, PhD degree from the beginning. Everybody will get a house. The salary structure is going to be more. If you don't give more salary, as I say, if you give, peanuts, you will get only monkeys. We have already signed memorandum of understanding with the Department of Biotechnology, Indian Council of Medical Research in India, University of Michigan at Ann Arbor, and we are in process of signing with NCI US. And Dr. Harold Varmus, the Nobel laureate, he visited us 3-4 months back, and we are in the process of signing the MOU. The culture which prevents us working in this country, first is no work, no mistake. And you cannot remove somebody for not working because he has not committed a mistake. That culture has to go. If that doesn't go, we will have another 2,000 years in which we cannot. In fact, the higher you go, easier to go. Higher in position, easier to remove you out of the job. That has to go. And unless you have a system of hiring and firing, which we have kept in the new institute, it is not permanent job. Many times I take interviews, they leave private job, come to us, say, why have you come? Now the job is permanent. I told, what do you mean permanent? You don't have to work. Because permanent, I am permanent. To remove, there are so many codes, it will take 30 years by that time your job is over. So unless we do something like this, it cannot improve. Thank you very much for patiently listening.